Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Hey, new album is out, zulonline.com. You can find a link there to buy it if you want off of Bandcamp, or you can just listen to it on Spotify. It's my weird improvisational music. Let's ask this question. So imagine you're playing Final Fantasy 15, or better yet, let's imagine that you are like some future art historian. You're like a gaming historian in the future, and you're playing Final Fantasy 15, this major game from the 2010s, and you realize that there's this option to paint your car with Terra Battle on it. And you're like, what is this? What is Terra Battle? We have to discover what Terra Battle is. And you do some research and you find out, Terra Battle was a mobile game that the same corporation made around this time. And you're like, there were some tie-ins to it. Not only was there a car tie-in, but like apparently, you could go on this mission with this character. Where's this character from? Where did she come from? Oh, well, she's from Terra Battle. And your question is, well, maybe we should play Terra Battle because clearly it was important to the people who designed the game and may have been important to the people who played the game in the ancient times known as the 2010s. And you can't play it. It's lost to the ages. The game can't be recovered. It can't be played. You have snippets of it. You have little pieces of the art. You have references to the art. You maybe have screenshots, maybe little videos of what the gameplay looked like, but you can't play the game anymore because the game required all of this online infrastructure as well as like this phone hardware that might have disappeared to the ages. But it required all this infrastructure and all this extra code that just disappeared when they felt like the game shouldn't be around anymore. And so the question I guess I have is, are mobile games worth preserving? The reason that they don't get preserved. Now, I heard that, I bring up Terra Battle because I heard that there was going to be a console port, like a full version of the game eventually, but Square Enix never did that. So they never converted it into a game you could just play, like an all-in-one experience. One of the things about Final Fantasy 15, even though it had like lots of DLC, is that it's a game you could buy. It was on a disc. It was a complete thing, which means it's pretty easy to preserve. You can save the ROM, you can save the disc, you can save the program wherever it's going to be. It becomes not too hard to preserve a complete game. But because live service games are live service, they require all this net code and a separate server that's different from the computer that you're running the program on, the local host. It becomes much more difficult to preserve. And this was a question over with Vanilla WoW some years ago, and why private servers were a thing and why there was a lot of resistance to stopping Blizzard from shutting down those private servers. And that was because they were preserving a game which you could no longer play. Maybe you don't know this if you didn't play World of Warcraft, but they came out with this expansion called Cataclysm, and Cataclysm erased the original World of Warcraft. The original World of Warcraft was deleted. You could no longer play it. So the original zones, the original quests, the original art, it was all gone. It was completely replaced, floor up. The only thing that the next closest original thing you had was Outland, which was from the first expansion, Burning Crusade, but the original base game disappeared. So if you wanted the original experience you played back in 2004, 2005, it was impossible to do it in a completely legal way. That is, Blizzard offered no way for you to access a game that you paid for, and you probably paid $50 or $60 for it when it came out. So you paid for a game and you can't play it because it requires all of this extra stuff to work. So a private server steps in and provides that other layer that you need in order to actually experience something like what the game was in 2004. But that's a problem because, Blizzard has a current version of the game they want you to play. Eventually they did come out with Classic, which was great. But a lot of live service games will have this. Concord dropped and then it died. Now, maybe we can lament the death of vanilla World of Warcraft. Maybe you can even lament the death of Concord, which just like basically died a stillbirth, or any of these other games that are live service games built to be live service games, and when they're turned off, they're gone. But Will anybody mourn the mobile game? Is anybody going to mourn Terra Battle or something, right? I don't know, because one of the things about mobile games is that they were really designed to be very disposable experiences. Very few people think, oh, when I'm thinking of the art form of a game, I'm thinking of something you play on a phone. Now, I can think of important games that came out on a phone. I actually can, like Angry Birds. And I have a preserved version of Angry Birds. I have the Angry Birds trilogy for the Wii U. And the Angry Birds trilogy for the Wii U can live forever on my Wii U disc and go into my Wii U. And anytime we want to play any Angry Birds level ever, we can put that in and we can experience Angry Birds. But that question is Angry Birds really worth experiencing? Is it worth experiencing? I can't always answer that question. But one of the things that I think strikes me about something like Terra Battle, which generally I didn't play it, but the people that I've talked to who've played it, or you can find people online maybe who've played it, they have a pretty generally high opinion of it for other mobile games. You can never play it. You can't play it anymore. It's not an option. We won't ever know what that game was after this. And if it wasn't worth preserving, obviously the company that made it feels like it wasn't worth preserving. It wasn't paying for itself to be continued to be played. And if it wasn't worth preserving by turning it into like a full app like what you have with, or like a full program like what you have with Angry Birds Trilogy on PS Vita or whatever they put that on, then was it really worth playing to begin with? And I guess that's the next layer, because I generally feel like most mobile games, I call them potty games, because you play them on the toilet, right? They're disposable experiences for when you have 3 minutes to waste and you want something to kind of occupy your mind that isn't reading a book. At least that's how I look at it. And most of the people I know who play like little mobile games, including my family members, it's a time wasting activity. It's like, yeah, you play the like match 3 game or whatever, because it's just a little puzzle game. It's disposable. It's a disposable experience. I feel like Final Fantasy 15, we can have lots of debates about whether it was great or not. I actually think it was a good game. I have a review of it on this channel from when I did a full playthrough, streamed a full playthrough of it. I think that was an experience worth having, and I think it's an experience worth preserving so that other people can have it in the future. And I wonder how many of those mobile experiences are worth having. If they weren't worth preserving, were they worth having? I can't easily answer that question. But either way, these are games that are going to be lost to the ages. And the way that they would have to be preserved is the companies that own them would have to be willing to convert them into something that is a permanent state. I've seen so many mobile games shut down, and we have glimpses of them. I think about being like a gaming archaeologist, a gaming historian in hundreds of years. You'll have pieces like here's a little soundtrack from Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. This is a great little track here, And so you have pieces of the art. You have the soundtrack. You have a really nice sounding soundtrack. You maybe have the pixel art from the game. You maybe have things like that going on, but you don't have the full game. You can't play this game anymore. This is another one of those Square Enix like mobile games. I think this is a great little track. What a great piece of a game soundtrack. And you can just listen to it and you can experience that on its own. But it's missing its full context. You're not getting the full context of what the game is supposed to be. And so that's my question I would ask of you is just, do you think mobile games are worth preserving? Or is it a question of they are just disposable? They're designed to be disposable. We don't need to worry about preserving them anymore. We need to worry about preserving like cigarette packages from the 20th century. It's like, we don't really need them, We never really needed them to begin with. And what we should focus on for game preservation is the big stuff. Anyway, I'd love your opinions. Please leave them down below in the comment section. Are there any mobile games that you think are like, yeah, this is this is one that should be preserved or will be preserved or, deserve to be preserved? That's my big question for you. Okay, so have a great one. I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And boom, here's the Here's the album. It doesn't sound like this soundtrack right here at all. It's much weirder. But if you like my weird improvisational music, I would encourage you to check it out. You can also just watch all of the videos. I recorded all these tracks live, so you can watch the videos of me performing them over on the music channel, link down below in the description box. And I'll see you all next time. Have a great day.